こんにちは。私はチームジャパンの荒金陽太と申します。ゲーム ID は JPN レイシーで出場させていただきます。
チームジャパンの松本博文です。ゲームネームは JPN 穴津でやらせていただきます。
チームジャパンの半沢正光です。ゲーム ID は JPN ドギーでやっています。
JPN ソルトギアです。名前は大須賀和人です。で、家にギャラクシーの端末が一つあって、それならPUBG モバイルができると思って始めました。
PUBG モバイルは誰でもどこでもプレイできるのですごく魅力的だと思います。今回の大会に参加した理由は自分の実力を試したいからです。
ソロ大会で日本予選は行われていたので、一人一人の打ち合いが強いところが長所です。少し緊張はしていますが、負けるっていうことは考えられないです。
上位に食い込める自信があるので、頑張って上位に食い込もうと思ってます。
3位という結果で終わったのは悔しいですけど、世界大会に行けるっていうことがすごく嬉しくて、で予選は3位でも日本代表として1位を取れれば自分は満足です。
すべて分割して1位になりたいと思います。
タイのアジアファイナルで実際に戦った RRQ だと思います。
最多キルになれるよう頑張っていきます。
優勝できたら本当に嬉しいと思っています。
一日一ドンカツ取るぞ。
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here, and hearing from all of these teams once again, brotherly love. That's what I extracted from that, my friends. So many brothers on these teams pairing together and bringing that kind of ferocity here to the table. It's really cool to see, actually. It really kind of breaks, it puts that bond in place where you always know what your brother's going to do.
Absolutely.
So perfect.
There's chemistry there that's just natural, that's built in, that you don't have to learn. And it almost makes you want to root for these guys to do well so they can take that home to their family.
Definitely, and usually between that there is brotherly rivalry, so more than likely they are going to go ahead and try to do better than one another.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So whilst we're just waiting here for our next game, it's important to note that our teams have a little bit of an opportunity to talk strategy, have a bit of a kind of timeout, as it were, to be able to figure out exactly what they're going to be wanting to bring into the next game. Gentlemen, you were already talking to me about how the two Doyu teams actually very much impressed you in the last game. Evos obviously took that first place, but which other teams from our first game, or even the games that we've had so far, have really kind of shone through for you and you expect to be able to do well throughout the tournament?
Got to be Team BRK from South America, getting that wipe on Cloud9 and persevering on into the game. Baraka there putting together a ton of kills all by himself and really set the tone for BRK as they were able to finish very well in that first round.
Yeah, and as we're seeing them Team Hyro, actually, I'm looking forward to see what they're able to do. They seem to jump out a little bit too late there and they got blown up. And another team is the Terror team from India.
Yeah.
They had flashes there of greatness, but they weren't able to get the placing there on. They were pretty much, they got knocked out too early. So I want to go ahead and see how they come out here in game number 2, the Indian team, Team Terror.
Yeah, definitely. The one thing that you mentioned actually with BRK that kind of sparked my interest was at the very beginning of our game, they actually dropped, you say Watertown, I say Atlantis. Everyone has a different name for it. I'm going to go with Atlantis just to annoy you. But overall, it's not the most common of loot spawns.
No, it's not.
To actually try and kind of prolong the game.
No, it was a very uncommon drop spot, but you saw there was kind of a pseudo hot drop there, if you will. A couple of teams were dropping right next to each other in a very obscure location. I believe that was Team Terror. They peeled off and decided to go elsewhere, leaving Watertown to be looted up by BRK. So they got the loot that they needed. Ultimately, it allowed them to win a couple of fights, put them in a pretty good position here heading out of round 1.
And they actually got caught coming out of that area there. They were pretty much hiding in a little shack as cars were passing by them. So very, very risky drop there by them.
Can you be the tiebreaker, Seven? Can you tell me, what do you like, Watertown or what's your choice?
Venice.
Venice? Oh no!
Oh boy, we're never coming to resolution on this one.
Well played, well played. I'm not going to take that away from you. But overall, going into our next round, what do you think some of these teams have to take away from them? Obviously, I think that the plane was pretty good for the most part. It didn't limit too many locations. What do you think?
It didn't really shine the light on any location in particular as though it's going to be, this is going to be a hot drop. But there was a lot of stuff that was in range. You saw it kind of splitting the difference between Pachinki, military base, against Naya Polyana. flying right on through the middle there on the diagonal. So a really solid plane path for the most part. Maybe we'll see another one this game.
Yeah, and pretty much the ending zone there just pushing all the way up to George Bull, even though people were landing at the beginning there in military base. So great rotations by some teams. I'm looking forward to see if some teams are going to start landing more towards they're more comfortable. So BRK, are they going to go Pachinki? Maybe Cloud9, are they going to start going to Novo? I'm looking forward to see if they're going to start doing that or if they're just going to keep on mixing it up.
That zone, though, that is my least favorite zone in all of Erangel that we saw at the end of that game, just out in the middle of nowhere, absolutely no cover. And if somebody's in that sniper tower and in that building, as